Private placements are powerful but an often overlooked investment option for many retirement investors. So this video will be geared towards intermediate and advanced investors who want to learn how private placements work, and more importantly, how you can take advantage of the power of making private placement investments with a self-directed retirement account. I'm Adam Bergman, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. And I've written 9 books on self-directed retirement accounts. And a number of the books actually cover investing in private placement investments. So I'm going to spend some time explaining how it works, what a private placement is, some of the accredited investor rules, the advantages, disadvantages, kind of wrap it all up together so you'll have everything you need to know to understand how to make a private placement investment with a self-directed retirement account. So let's get started. What is a private placement? Okay, private placement is essentially an investment, but most private placements involves a gathering of assets from a variety of people that invest through a company or a partnership into a venture or business. So there's different examples of private placements, right? It could be that ChatGPT is looking to raise more money and they'll do a private placement. It could be a publicly traded company that's looking to raise money and they will do a private placement or a PIPE to gather more money without trying to sell potentially more stocks to the public. So it's more of a private offering to invest in a specific venture or company. In most cases, to invest in a private placement, you need to be an accredited investor. An accredited investor means, under the SEC rules, that you either have $300,000 if you're married, filed jointly, of annual income, or you have $1 million in net worth excluding your primary residence. Okay, so the idea is the SEC wants to make sure you're sophisticated enough that you can understand the risks involved in a private placement investment. I personally think it's totally arbitrary to have those numbers, right? It doesn't really take into account inflation. Does it take into account someone who went to Harvard Business School that maybe makes less than $300K a year, has less than $1 million in net worth, but can't do an investment because they're not deemed accredited? What about a securities attorney that makes less than $300K? They can't invest. They know a lot about security laws. So I get why the government's doing it. They're trying to help us protect ourselves from ourselves, but it's kind of arbitrary. So in any event, those are the rules. So what are the advantages of private placements? Well, you hopefully get to invest in some really cool, emerging, exciting opportunities, right, that are not available to everyone. Could be friends and family. It could be to a small network of people. Could be from an investment advisors. Could be a real estate deal. Could be an AI company and manufacturing company, consulting company, doesn't matter, right? It's just a network of people that are going to come together, aggregate their funds to make the investment. So the advantages are clear, right? Diversification, hopefully huge upside, the ability to get into a specific investment that maybe has some risks because it's not publicly traded or it's a type of enterprise that has more risk than buying, US treasuries, but the upside's there. The major thing to understand with private placements is the diligence. Know what you're investing in, know what you're buying, who's offering this private placement, right? Make sure it's being offered by someone credible. Most private placements are either Reg A's or Reg D's. Okay, those are just the name of the type of private placement. It's basically a SEC type filing. Some of these Reg A and Reg D's will have some wiggle room for non-accredited investors to invest, but in most cases, they're only going to want accredited investors. Some cases, they may only want what's called a QP, a qualified purchaser, which is someone that has $5 million or more of net worth. And that's just kind of a risk profile. I invest in private placements, but the most important thing for me to focus on is like who's offering this investment, and I want to do my diligence. Why should you use a self-directed IRA to invest in a private placement? If you want to use retirement funds to invest in a private placement, because Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, they're not going to let you do most private placements that are offered because they don't sell them and they don't make money. Okay, so unless it's a major private equity fund or hedge fund, you're not going to be able to do private placements with a traditional financial institution. You're going to have to set up a self-directed IRA with a company like IRA Financial, which we specialize in custodying alternative asset investments. Okay, the advantages, the gains are tax deferred, right? When you sell the private placement or you get income from it, it's not taxable. However, if the private placement is a pass-through entity like an LLC, there is the potential for a tax known as unrelated business income tax, which could impose a potential 37% tax on the income. Now, there are ways to reduce it, minimize it, and eliminate it through blockers or other structures, but that is a topic for another video. Again, this video is geared towards intermediates and more advanced, and that's why I'm mentioning UBIT and some of the Reg A's and Reg D stuff. From a beginner standpoint, I also don't want to forget you guys, and just know that you can do private placements. It's just an investment to a venture or a business. The advantage is you get to diversify, you hopefully got to generate tax-deferred, tax-free income, and invest in assets beyond the stock market, right? Invest beyond the S&P 500 and get to invest hopefully in really emerging, interesting, and hopefully lucrative investments. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing everyone again on the next podcast/video. Take care.